Lot to cover on my trip to Ford Field from Saturday.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, everybody? Matt Derry with you. It is a Monday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Indeed, it is your team every day. Today is Monday, August 18th. Into Tuesday, August 19th, final week of training camp. A lot of cuts coming next week. All the stuff is going down here as we get ready for preseason game number 4, Saturday afternoon at Ford Field, once again, as the Lions will take on the Houston Texans. Later on this week, they'll have one joint practice with the Texans, play the game Saturday. And then next week, big roster cut down. As we know, tons of players will be looking for jobs. It is just a brutal sport. Oh my gosh. Being there and watching some of these guys fight in person Saturday at the Dolphins game in the preseason game, watching these guys fight and scratch to the end to try to earn a job is incredible. It really is. I know a lot of people talk about preseason and they say it's meaningless. Not to some of these dudes that are out there just balling out. That Barku kid, oh my God, just going crazy, trying so hard. But welcome in, everybody. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you to all of you that subscribe and watch us for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Yes, indeed, Saturday made the trek down to Ford Field, the corner of Brush and Adams, for Little Lions football. Took my wife with me. We were invited in a beautiful plush suite on the brick side. In the gosh, why am I drawing a blank on the word I'm trying to bring up? The warehouse side. Jeez. Warehouse side. It was beautiful. Thank you to the Batdorf family. We know Jody and Mama Batdorf were so missed, but our guy Turner ran the show and quarterbacked the suite. We had a great time. Uncle John in the building. My friend Talia in the building with her family. It was a very good time. Our friends Hank and Crystal, we had a good time. Some everydayers that are out there that watch and listen to the podcast were in the suite. Got to give a shout out to a Dolphin fan extraordinaire, Austin Davenport, the White Mamba, Drew Peters in the building, Brandon Jeffries. Had a great time with those guys. And then walking through the concourse before the game, right there in the front entrance, just kind of showing our friends Hank and Crystal are from out of town, how beautiful Ford Field is. And ran into Nick and Gabe Callender. Some of our everydayers, they stopped me to say hello. Super nice people. So appreciate you guys checking us out daily on the pod. Before I get to anything else, there will be a video soon this week. So Turner comes to me in like the third quarter and says, listen, we know about the kicker list, right? Of course, the kicker list, Jake Bates, kicker list is dead. It's torn up, all this stuff. He says, you're going to be on the kicker list. And I said, what are you talking about? He says, after the game, our guy, Tyler Tran, who works for the Lions in season tickets and stuff and suites, he's bringing us down to the field. You're kicking a field goal. Oh, my God. If you guys remember when I was at Detroit Sports 105.1, one time we went down to Callahan Hall and I shot free throws after talking trash about free throw shooting. And I didn't bend my knees. My form was horrible. And I went 1 for 5. There will be video later this week. I'm working on getting it uploaded correctly so we can see it. A little teaser of me attempting a field goal. That's right, from 20 yards out on Saturday. But thanks to Tyler Tran, my boy Kyle Anglin with the Lions, they took us down there. It was a lot of fun. Turner knocked his in, man. And then the boys, Drew and Austin, they were going at it from 30 yards away. 40, they were pushing that field goal back. But I got to tell you something. We have a jewel in Ford Field. We really do. That place is great. The Lions do an excellent job. And again, look, I'm in a suite, so I'm living it up, right? I mean, it was high end. It was great, right? That's the best of the best. But man, that place is jumping. Fans are there early. Sight lines are great. I don't like when the PA announcer goes, Motown, it's third down. No one ever calls it. Do people call it Motown anymore? I don't know. That's like a small gripe. Other than that, we had a great time. The game went forever. All right. As far as a little recap, we're going to get you the PFF grades. I want to talk about the backup quarterback situation. I got to talk about the Bears because I did watch them a little bit last night. Let's just recap a little bit as to what I saw Saturday night. All right. First and foremost, as I told you on Friday, I want to take a look at some players. There's some certain guys that I want to keep an eye on, right? Whiteside on defense, Broderick Martin, who is not good. I watched him a few plays. I honed in on him. He's jumping off sides. He's grabbing people for illegal hands to the face. Like, it just was not a good day for Broderick Martin Saturday. And then on top of that, he got hurt today in practice in a collision. Regardless, the backup quarterback thing is what everybody wants to talk about. And right now, if the Lions were to open the season with their 53-man roster, Hendon Hooker, in my mind, would not be on it. Yes, the Lions under this regime, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's first season, did carry 3 quarterbacks, right? They had Jared Goff, they had Tim Boyle, and they had David Blau. Mr. August, Tim Boyle. It's a Nate Lickey's guy. But hey, they have carried 3 quarterbacks in the past. Last year at the end of the season, they carried 3 quarterbacks. They kept Hendon Hooker, but all of a sudden they decided about week 17, we better get Teddy Jam for me Bridgewater up here from down in Florida after his high school season ended and have him be the backup. And of course, Teddy got into the game in the playoff game against the Commanders. Teddy Bridgewater is now a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hendon Hooker struggled again. Kyle Allen looked good. All right. Now, again, second and third string. It's preseason. I get that. But you have to see what you have in order to assess what happens, knock on wood, if Jared Goff goes down, if there is some sort of injury. And Kyle Allen looks legit. He looks decent. I've never been a big fan of his. I watched him start football games in this league, but for a backup quarterback, if he's the guy, I'm much more comfortable than I am with Hendon Hooker. I just, Hendon I felt sorry for him watching him Saturday because he was not this player at Tennessee. We all watched him in college. His senior year before he tore his ACL, he was on pace to be in New York. Only in New York. He was in New York. He was going to be one of the Heisman finalists. And he tears his ACL. Of course, sits out the first year after being drafted by the Lions to just recoup. Last year, he basically held a clipboard. And this year, I just do not see progression. I don't. And the last drive of the game, look, the game doesn't matter. Okay, they lost 24-17. It's the first time I've mentioned the score, and it's 7 minutes into the show. But that last drive told you all you needed to know. He moved him down the field. He nickel and dime down the field. A lot of little quick outs, a lot of little, backyard button hooks. And hey, they're inside the red area. And then Hooker drops back and just looks one way. First read, telegraphing the throw. I am going to throw to my first read. Watch this. I cock my arm back. Here you go. And the defensive end, the edge rusher came up, made a very nice play. All right. Normally 90 times out of 100, that thing's batted down. Kid made an excellent play. Manu tackled him or whomever on the offensive line. Game over. So just when you thought, all right, he's moving the team, Dan Campbell was going to go for it, try to win the game and give the kid some confidence because he had moved the team down the field. He throws that interception. It's just been a turnover machine for Hendon Hooker this preseason. And season ends today. Kyle Allen's the backup, and I don't know what you do with Hooker. Do you keep him on the roster? Do you have a third quarterback on this roster? Brad Holmes does not like to give up on draft picks early. He's held on to him for quite a long time. Just ask Broderick Martin. All right. Just ask Lucas and Jamar Jefferson. These guys were on the team a long time. Some GMs, they draft a kid in the 6th or 7th round. If he's not good enough, they're gone. Brad likes to hold on to his guys to develop them, but Hooker just struggled. He just struggled. And Allen made some good throws. There were some throws he missed. Kyle Allen's got a nice little rapport with Isaac Tesla and Jackson Meeks. Those 2 kids are making this team. I don't know how you keep Jackson Meeks off the roster. He's a first down machine. He leads all the preseason in first down catches. And undrafted free agent, Brad Holmes has kept some around on this roster. Do they go 7 wide receivers? Jackson Meeks, to me, looks like a player. Looks like a guy you do not want to expose to waivers, and somebody else picks them up and puts them on their roster. I love what I'm seeing from Meeks. Tesla is real, man. He just catches everything. High pointed that ball in the end zone for the touchdown in traffic, went up and got it. And as Dan Campbell said, he's going to play. So some way they got to find a way to get him on the field. And that's exciting. That is very exciting. They, they moved up. They traded 3 draft picks to get him. And he looks the part. And the crowd loves him. Loves him. But he catches everything, man. Everything. And it's exciting. More weapons? Why not? What if this kid breaks out? What if they got to have him on the field? What if he pushes Tim Patrick to where they have to make a tough decision at receiver in terms of playing time? I still think Patrick's going to make the team. I still think Raymond's on the team. But Meeks and Tesla have played really, really well. All right, more on what took place on Saturday, some other observations that I want to make. We'll do that coming up next. We got to give you the PFF grades as well, the top 5 and bottom 5 Lion performers from Saturday's game against the Miami Dolphins. We will do that coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. Locked On Lions today is proudly brought to you by Betterhelp. These days, it feels like there's advice for everything. Cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes, but how do you know what actually works for you? With so much information online about mental health and wellness, it can be overwhelming sometimes to figure out what's true and what will actually help. That's where talking to a licensed therapist through BetterHelp can make all the difference. You get real personalized guidance instead of just guessing based on something you saw on social media. All right. I see a therapist once every 2 weeks. It's a great help to talk to somebody neutral, to kind of just air what's out there in your mind and in your life and get it done. It's awesome. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, serving more than 5 million people. It's easy to fit into your schedule. Just click to connect. You can even switch therapists anytime if you need to. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month. You go to betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. Great to have you with us on a Monday. Tomorrow on the show, the legendary voice of the NFL on CBS. You see him doing the NBA on TNT. He now will be doing it for Amazon. He is the play-by-play voice of the Final Four on CBS. The great Ian Eagle will join us tomorrow. He is done with the Summer of Ian. We always have him on every year. Ian Eagle going to join us from CBS tomorrow, right here on the show to talk some Detroit Lions football. So you're not going to want to miss that. And again, I'm working on this video from the other day. I did kick a field goal. You will see it this week. Video courtesy of Turner Batdorf. All right, let's do this. Let's talk PFF grades, shall we, from Saturday's game against Miami. Here are the top 5 and bottom 5 Lions. I will go in Casey Kasem order as requested from one of our calls of the day last couple weeks. Mason Miller, right guard, was 5th best with a 73.2 grade on offense. Sione Vaki, 74.8. Isaac Tesla, no surprise, 78.6 grade, 3rd best on the team on offense. Kyle Allen, the current backup quarterback, 84.9 grade. And the top grade on offense for the Lions on Saturday, and their 7-point loss to the Dolphins, wide receiver from Syracuse, Jackson Meeks, at a 90.7. 90. As far as the lowest graded Lions, 5th lowest, Shane Zylstra, he of the Flying Zylstra brothers, the tight end, 51.8. Zach Horton, also tight end, 48.4. Hendon Hooker, no surprise, 3rd lowest grade, also 48.4. Jacob Saylors, who I thought ran the ball pretty well, but had a really, really low pass blocking score, 47.9. I like that kid, though. And TK85, the legendary Tom Kennedy, comes in at a 41.9. Those are your top 5 and bottom 5 Lions from Pro Football Focus on the offensive side of the ball from Saturday against the Dolphins. On defense, let's go from 5 to 1. 5th best defender, Lauren Strickland, the safety, at a 69. Alan George, cornerback. How about George? 70.9. DJ Miller, also cornerback. These guys are all UFL players. 72.6. Isaac Ukwu got to the passer a couple times, rushed the passer. He had a better game than Nate Lynn the other day, 83.3. And the top rated Lion overall, offense or defense, and I liked what I saw from number 36, Eric Hallett, 91.1. I was keeping an eye on him and Nick Whiteside, and Hallett was jumping around everywhere. He was phenomenal, played really well, and might have earned a job the other day on this roster. As far as the bottom 5 Lions on defense, Tyson Russell, cornerback, 51.6. Anthony Pittman, 45.8, the linebacker. Ahmed Hassanin, who we will get to momentarily, talk about him, but he's hurt. 45.5, just 10 snaps before he left the game with a rib cage injury. Miles Adams, 45.4, played a lot of snaps. And Dayron Gilbert, the middle linebacker, 32.2. So those are your top 5 and bottom 5 Lion performers. By the way, Broderick Martin, 58.5. I just kept trying to watch number 99. I wanted to focus on him in person, check him out. And he was jumpy out there with 2 penalties and was one missed tackle that he had. It's going to be, I think he's going to be cut. I do. But I liked Hallett on defense a lot. The thing with that game the other day, that officiating crew was a disaster. There were over 20 penalties in that game. The game went 3.5 hours long. I'm sorry, but you got to let these kids play. You got to let these guys play. They were calling a flag on every play. I mean, you got to let some of those go. 13 penalties on the Lions is bad. All right. The Lions did not play all that well. And anytime it seemed like they made a play, sans the 2 touchdowns from Kyle Allen, there seemed to be some yellow laundry on the field. They've got to clean some of that up. But all in all, defensively, I liked what I saw, certainly from Isaac Ukwu getting to the passer, Eric Hallett as well. And as I mentioned before, Ahmed Hassanin, the Lions 6th-round pick, has a pec injury. I said rib cage. He's got a pectoral injury. And today, Dan Campbell announced that it's going to be a while for Hassanin to return. So not a good sign for the Lions 6th-round pick as they practice today outside of pads. But Hassanin's a guy that I don't think we're going to see for a little while. And look, the Lions showed something in this game Saturday that was a little bit surprising. And that was the amount of blitzes that the Lions put on both Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers was I was surprised. I know that Kelvin Shepard wants to be aggressive. I know it's the preseason, though. I was surprised at the amount of blitzes they put on. And look, some of them worked. All right. Some of them didn't. But you saw the aggressive nature in which Shep is going to coach with in this game or in these games when we get to the regular season and the Lions go to Green Bay to face the Packers on September 7th at 4:25 on CBS. But Hassanin out a while means one thing is, I think, certain and likely, I believe, going to take place at the end of this week at least. And that is the Lions are going to sign Zadarius Smith. I think that's going to happen. There's some other guys that have been scooped up. We talked about Von Miller signing with the Commanders. There's been other guys that have done some visits that have been out there, including Matthew Judon. I forgot who he's visiting with today, but I think the Hassanin injury means, yes, Nate Lynn has had a good camp. Yes, Isaac Ukwu has had a good camp, but I think it is going to be pretty paramount this week or next that Zadarius Smith is going to join the team. You can never have enough depth along the defensive line. Hassanin has a great motor. He tries hard. Still a project in the 6th round and now a pec injury. Campbell said out a while. I think that pretty much cements the fact that a guy like Zadarius Smith is going to be here and be here soon. He's not going to play Saturday if they sign him this week. There's no way any of the regulars are going to play. The Lions are just like the Rams. Brad Holmes is mirroring what his former boss, Les Snead, does with the Rams. I mean, the Rams have played none of their regulars. They have been really quiet on Matthew Stafford's status as he was back at practice today, but they haven't said much about his health and everything else. The Lions have pretty much done the same. I mean, on Saturday, I got to the stadium and I saw Tyleik Williams dressed. I saw Tate Ratledge dressed. I saw Terran Arnold in a uniform, but those guys weren't going to get out there. They were not going to get out there at all. I thought Al-Qadim Muhammad, what was his PFF grade? I thought he played well in the game. He was also tied with Lauren Strickland. I apologize. He also had a 69 grade, so he was top 5 as well. I thought Muhammad played well. Watching number 96 come off the edge, I thought he had a good game. So, again, depth piece, guy that's going to be very important, rotating in with Hutchinson and Davenport and those guys. All right, coming up next, I've got to be fair. I've got to be fair. When in doubt, what do? We talk about the Chicago Bears. I rip them to shreds. Benedict and his little toy quarterback, Caleb Williams. Anybody check out that action last night from down there at Soldier Field? Whew. The Bears look good. I have got to give them some credit. We will do that coming up next. All right, folks, fantasy football season is here. What about our friends at Yahoo Fantasy? It's the best time of the year. NFL kickoff is almost here, and that means fantasy football season is back in full swing. And this year, Yahoo Fantasy is turning things up with a fantasy football experience like never before. All right. This year, me and Locked On Lions, we are back playing on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too, whether you're a first timer or a veteran, making your millionth league. All right. I've used Yahoo Fantasy forever. All right. And the updates they're rolling out this month are wild, but in the best way. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy football greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days throughout August. All right. To kick it off, they just dropped Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine Leagues, a killer new way to play fantasy football on Yahoo, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated each week until there's one team left standing. The season around the corner. Now's the time to get your league together and give this new mode a try. If you're more into the classics, you can still play in head-to-head private leagues or join a public league. Stay tuned for more killer announcements and start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. All right, so yes, it is only the preseason, ladies and gentlemen. All right, but last night, have to give credit where credit is due. The Bears played on Fox in a primetime Sunday night preseason game against the Denver Broncos and the Buffalo Bills, and absolutely annihilated them. That is going to be something to watch on Hard Knocks. By the way, check out Andrew Siciliano doing the Buffalo Bills Hard Knocks podcast. It's very good. But man alive, the Bears looked good. Caleb Williams was rolling out. Caleb Williams was staying in the pocket. He had time to throw. He zipped a few to Cole Kmet last night that were pretty impressive. So while I sit here and make lots of fun of the Bears, all right, and we sing the song, the Bears still suck and everything else, got to give credit where credit is due. It appears, at least from last night, that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams have it going and that they took strides yesterday. All right. Now, Johnson didn't play a ton. They brought in Bajent and everything else, but they didn't look bad. They did not look bad at all. It's knocking my water over. So I've been on their case, but this division is going to be a slobber knocker, man. And look, JJ McCarthy's been up and down in the preseason and in training camp. Caleb Williams has been up and down. All right. Jordan Love is hurt. There's a lot of factors in this division that are tough to predict. I still think your Detroit Lions are the best team in this division. I do. I think the Bears still are a year away. I think Green Bay is very, very young in their secondary, especially at the cornerback position. I like their safeties, but their corners to me can be picked on. Minnesota, I love their coach. I'm a huge Kevin O'Connell fan. I'm just not sure JJ McCarthy is going to be as sharp as Sam Darnold was. And here's the other thing about the Bears. That left tackle position is still up for grabs. They still have competition at tackle. And that's a little scary. I think we know with the Lions offensive line, what we got. All right, with Decker and Mahogany and Glasgow, Ratledge and Sewell. And I'll say this, the other day I was watching Dan Skipper, man, that dude, 9 or 10 years in the league, still out there in the preseason, playing his ass off, playing hard. I'll tell you, these guys play so hard for Dan Campbell. They really do. And that's one thing going in person on Saturday, and I was glad that I did, is watching the effort that these guys play with. A guy like Eric Hallett is dying to make the team. Nick Whiteside, local kid, dying to make the team. And I think Hallett, with his performance on Saturday, I think he secured a spot as a backup safety or cornerback. We know this. The Lions have two of the better safeties in the league, but the depth behind them, you play Avonte Maddox at safety. Do you play Rock Yassin at safety? Is Hallett more of a safety than a corner? Lions like versatility. right? Branch last year went up and played some corner in order to help the defense when all the injuries took place. But man, watching the game the other day, and look, it was sloppy. It was preseason football. It was brutal at times. All right. And by the way, you guys as fans that were there, I was explaining it to my buddy Hank, who was in from Virginia. He's like, this is some crowd for a preseason game. I said, yeah. They announced 47,000 and place was jumping an hour and a half before the game. We got down there early just so I could show them around. And the place is hopping. It's a great experience. And I'm not just, look, I'll rip them when I need to. All right. I've taken my jabs at this organization doing this podcast now and entering the 10th season. They put on a good show there. They really, really do. And everybody from the staff, like I mentioned before, Tyler, Kyle, and in suites and tickets, to be able to go down on the field after the game, kick some field goals, hang out, take pictures. It was great. A lot of fun. I know there's plenty of organizations like nobody on the field. That was a fun environment Saturday, and have 47,000 there, about 70% capacity for a preseason game, the same day as that Woodward Dream Cruise. Do I do my dream? No, I'm not doing the rant. All I ask is one time, just one time, make it organized. One time. Put the classic cars in one lane, put people that are trying to drive in another lane. It's just never organized. I just never understand driving a regular Jeep Compass down the street with 17 other cars. I just don't get it. But hey, people have a good time. You guys remember my rants at DFN about the Dream Cruise. I'm going to be nice. All right, Saturday, 1 o'clock, Lions and Texans at Ford Field this week. The team will hold one day of joint practices. I believe that's going to be Wednesday. Ian Eagle will join us tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcast. We're back again tomorrow.